This Bigfoot sighting comes out of White County, Arkansas, from November the 26th of 2015. The witness says that he was hunting alone that day, that his cousin had dropped him off that day and would be back just after nightfall, saying that he had never hunted this area before that day, that it was on public hunting grounds, but that he found a nice spot not long after he got there, that it was on top of a hill and that it had a rock for him to sit upon, with a great view of the woods and a nice open meadow. It seemed to be a great little spot. He says that he had been there for about an hour with little activity, when all of a sudden he heard a low growling sound, which seemed to go on for about 10 minutes. He says that he is an avid hunter and spends a lot of time in the woods, but that he has never heard anything like this before. While sitting there searching his mind, trying to figure out what was making the growling sound, stating he knew it wasn't a bear, a cougar, or any other big cat, then about 30 or so yards out, a pack of coyotes bursted out from the trees, running across the meadow. Now watching them till they went out of sight, when a rock was thrown in his direction, saying that the rock came out of the tree line, from the same area as the coyotes had came from. He says that this is when he grabbed his rifle and started watching the tree line for any movement. Now realizing that he would be alone in this unfamiliar area until after dark, with concerns of them being some kind of animal nearby, maybe a black bear or some kind of big cat, or maybe it's a feral hog. All of this was going through the witness's head at the time. He had a flashlight with him, not to use as a spotlight, just because he knew it would be after dark before his cousin would pick him up. He says that he saw a creature standing behind a large oak tree. It let out a low growl. It was the same growl he had been hearing earlier, when all of a sudden this creature let out a loud and powerful scream, saying that this was when he pulled the trigger in a reaction to the scream. He said that this creature was at least 8 foot tall, while having light brown hair, not fur, saying that the creature's arms wrapped around the front of the tree, and with the tree being at least 3 foot wide. Now he says as his light first hit this creature, he noticed the eyes, that they were a reddish yellow. But when he lowered the lights, its eyes were still glowing, he said. Now he says that he knows he hit the tree, just by the sound of the bullet when it hit. This is when he said the creature took off running across the meadows. It headed the same way the coyotes went. He says that this thing was massive and bipedal, definitely running on 2 legs, and that it was fast, that it cleared the whole meadow in 3 to 4 seconds. Now he sat there for a while trying to gather himself. Then he got up and walked over to the tree. The witness said that there were blood and hair on the tree, so he thinks that he hit the creature in the arm, since the bullet hole was in the middle of the tree, where the creature's arm had been. Now after a moment of reflection, all the hair on the back of his neck and arms stood straight up. Then he realized what he had seen and shot at. So at this point he sat back down to gather himself again. After thinking about what had just happened to him, he decided to follow the path of the creature, even though he knew he would be asking for trouble. He said he wanted to see if it might had went down. Now the interviewer questioned him on this decision. He said that he still had his gun, that it had ran once and would again if it was okay. I'm sure with his adrenaline going and thinking this creature was hit, I can see why he would want to make sure. If it was down, you would have the proof everyone keeps saying they need. Anyway, back to the sighting. He says that he walked 5 or 10 minutes and had gone slightly off trail when he said that he saw a teepee-like structure standing at least 8 to 9 feet tall, while having many different animal bones around it and being accompanied by an awful smell. When he heard a noise coming from across the open area near a briar patch, as he looked, he says that he saw a creature standing there, just looking at him. Now at this time, he started to raise his rifle, saying that the briar patch came up to his chest, while only coming up to this creature's knees and waist area. Then the witness saw a second creature. This one was shorter than the first one, but it was stepping out from behind a thicket. Within a second, a third one stepped out. This one probably being a juvenile, smaller than the other two. Now this one had reddish brown hair. The witness said that 2 out of the 3 had glowing eyeshine. At this point, the witness didn't even consider taking a shot. The witness says at this point he thought he was looking at a family unit, that he just stood there in awe, that they all just stood there looking at each other for 5 to 10 seconds. Then the 3 creatures just turned and walked off. The witness estimated that from the first sighting to this sighting, that about an hour had passed. Now he said that it was getting dark, so he headed back to meet his cousin at the spot where he had let him out. The witness said that the whole time he was in the woods that day was around 5 to 6 hours. I say that he had one great day, or one total horror-filled day. I guess it's just how you look at it. A lot of people would love to have seen these creatures up close like this. Then they are the people that just can't seem to accept these creatures, not even after they have seen them for themselves. Those are the ones that comes out as horror stories. So what did you think about this sighting report? Drop me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. And thanks for watching those endless mysteries.